like there's two different kinds of people who join coaching programs. One are the people who they're going to ask a question, and you're going to tell them the answer, and then they're going to ask the same question, and it pisses fucking everyone off.
Yep.
That it is really, really annoying. For everyone watching or listening,
don't be that person.
if you ever join something, or it doesn't even matter if it's like some program, it could be like any human on the planet who you're seeking advice from, and they tell you to do something specific, and then you come back and you didn't do the thing, or you ask the same question, it pisses them off, like a lot. What you need to do instead is you need to get the answer and immediately implement what they said. Now, let me give you an example. So we're at the tables. It was like breakout sessions at Cole Gordon's 8-figure boardroom, and this guy comes around. He was like collecting the sheets of paper. He's like, so what kind of questions do you have? I was like, I don't have questions. He's like, what do you mean you don't have questions? I was like, I came here with a question. The question's answered. That's it. All I need to do is execute the answer to the question. And he's like, so you have 0 questions? I'm like, not until I execute what I was told, and then I get feedback from it. He's like, oh, all right.
Fair enough.
And I'm sitting here like, well, you got to have some question. I'm like, no, I fucking don't. Like, I know.
Can you write something down, though?
They just made some shit up where it's like, I don't have any questions. I came with the one question I had.
What was it?
The question was answered. It was the positioning for placement. It was answered, and now it's like, okay, now I go home and do that, and that's it.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a exponentially negative graph between like time elapsed and how likely you are to implement it.
Yeah, like the one dude, Cloyd, he said,
Boyd
Cluis.
Boyd Cluis.
That's a tough one.
He just
He said
yeah.
Cloyd.
Yeah,
Lewis?
Dan was closing him at the club after. How'd that go?
bro, he's a killer.
You're just talking to
Fucking
him.
beast.
Yeah, he's
I
cool.
was just asking him for advice. I mean, he's doing better than us. So
Yeah, he's
just like
great.
trying
Yeah,
to
he's
learn
great.
from him and asking him different stuff. And tons
No,
of
but he said, like, go retarget all of your website visitors and the people who schedule calls, just like testimonials.
With
on,
testimonials
on-
specifically.
So I went up to the room and did it in like an hour. And I was like, right? That's what I did.
Yeah.
Like, why? I don't know why people allow, like, they get something that's a good idea and they just fucking twiddle their thumbs for like a month. It was like, oh, I'll get to it. It's like, dude, it's like 60 minutes it takes to do. Like, go. What are you doing?
Well,
Like,
it's a lot easier to consume than it is to create, right?
Yeah.
And I was going through this today. I'm just going through Taylor's content in his mastermind. And, like, at the end of every video, there's, like, an action item, like the Codex video, right? And, like, I won't allow myself, and it requires, like, a lot of discipline because it's really easy to just go to the next video instead of doing the action item at the end of that video that you just watched. And I, like, won't allow myself to go to the next video. But, like, that's my own self-discipline. A lot of people would just go to the next video and forget the action item 3 videos ago that they still haven't done. The worst, though, the worst type of student in client ascension are the ones that not only show up to the same coaching call with the same question, but they go to other coaching calls with that same question.
Oh, yeah.
And then all the coaches are, like, looking at each other like, bro, didn't we just give him the same answer? Like, I know you and Nick, you get this a lot, right?
Yeah.
And you're both talking like, yo, this guy's hitting me up. He's being mad annoying. And Nick is like, yo, me too. He's like, what is he asking you?
Well,
And it's usually the same thing.
Yeah, it's not that they're. It's not annoying. It's like.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating. You know what I did on one of my calls is I told them, I was like, a lot of you guys are outsourcing your thinking to me, but a lot of you here have been to so many of my calls, and now what's going to happen is you already know the answer to your question. You just want permission
Validation.
from me. You're outsourcing your thinking. I was like, what I need you to do is come to this with the mindset of that you are becoming me. Like, you're absorbing the information. You're becoming as competent and as knowledgeable in this subject matter as I am. So this is the entire point of this, for you to understand and for you to know how to do it yourself and be able to do it yourself.
Yes.
So I'm like, so what I'm going to do is, if you have come to this call many times and like you're here all the time and you ask a question, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my answer in your head. And then I'm going to ask you for your answer, what you think, and then we're going to compare answers. I'm like, let's do this right now. And I started doing it, and a lot of people who came to all the calls, we have the same answer. And I was like, cool. All right, so you actually do know what you're doing.
Yeah, Nick and I were talking about this. A great example. So we probably have a lot of client ascension students listening to this, and you guys are getting a lot of heat right now, but we still love you. And so we want you to succeed. So 2 examples, right? What a good student looks like and what a not so good student looks like. Not so good student will ask you, what should I write for my VSL, right? good student will send you 3 different examples of VSL scripts that you've written and ask for which one is best. And at least give you an idea as to why they think one is better than the other. So, like, do the actual work and ask for feedback. Same thing with, like, if you're in an email and you're trying to think of what's the best response to send back, like response handling, right? Come up with the response yourself based on what you've learned from the content and the coaching calls, and then ask for feedback on that rather than saying, hey, what should I say here? Like, at least make the effort based on what you've learned and then submit it for a review. Because otherwise, you're never going to survive in business. If you have to outsource your thinking and the actual doing of the thing to coaches that you won't have access to forever.
It's just the confidence to have your own conclusions and think by yourself, I guess.
And that's kind of like the role of a coach, right? Is you kind of have to hard press them on it. Like, coaches need to identify when that's happening.
Yeah.
And not let it continue. And I think that's what makes Client Ascension a really good program, is because there is that aspect of tough love too.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's just laziness. It's so easy to go to calls and just ask everybody, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? What would you do here?
Nah.
Well, it's just a lack of confidence.
I don't know if it's a lack of confidence, though.
No, this is really interesting. I mean, because we've just done this with like 1,000 people so far. I would say that the most common reason of failure actually is like a mindset thing, because it's like exactly like what you were saying, where it's like you were too scared to come to your own conclusions. You know, it always comes to the people who don't participate much either. It's always a mindset issue.
Dude,
because they're not participating.
If you knew that you were the best copywriter in the world, you would never ask anybody a question. But if you're like, oh, I don't think I'm good at this, you're going to ask a lot of questions.
But therein lies exactly the problem, because people need to assume they're the best, but like a lot of people in PSYOP that be humble. Like, people won't like you if you're not humble. But it's like, actually, people will fucking hate you if you're just humble all the time. And like, you need to
I think
like
the biggest I've thought about this a lot too, is like the line between ego and confidence. I feel like if it's internalized and you never tell anybody, it's confidence, but as soon as you start externalizing it, it turns into ego.
I think confidence is derived from, like, you say you're going to do something, you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
It's
can
just
be
self-talk.
You can be confident and humble. You just don't talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this short clip, check out the full interview here. And if you want to see more clips from this episode, check it out right here.